It's Elias AK-47 roaming live from the gutter, and you're listening to the OTS Project. Shots will be fired.
I'm standing there. I'm literally just doing my job. All of a sudden, giant green finger just hits me, and I go flying across the map, bro. Go flying across the country. Crazy. This dude had a bowl cut, right? I'm about to shoot this guy with a bowl cut. Probably should have shot him just for having a bowl cut in general, right? All of a sudden, obviously, a giant green hand that is giving me the finger just smacks me across the whole planet.
This is why I'm telling you, man. You gotta stay away from these wars, man. They'll kill you. Not because of the guns, because of the people in bowl cuts that'll just give you the giant green finger. They're out there. And they're present.
That is true. I was gonna switch from war correspondent to FedEx guy, but there's a lot of people with bowl cuts in FedEx as well. So I am still looking for.
You just can't escape.
Yeah,
you're screwed either way.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 27 of the OTS Project. Theo, what is going on, my boy?
It has been a very, very good week for Superman fans, DC fans alike. I have just been spending the week catching up on a bunch of rewatching a bunch of Superman stuff, really, in preparation for the new movie, which I'm glad I did because it was a bunch of fun. Still getting into comics and stuff like that, so this is going to be a very fun episode for me, at least. I'm very excited to get into the topic.
Hell yeah.
I'm very excied to record our Superman review, our official review episode, which we'll be doing after this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a pretty good week. I'm already planning on seeing it again with my dad next week. So that's gonna be very fun.
Cool.
But yeah, good week so far.
Yeah. So our topic today is top 5 DC characters. I've noticed we'll do this, and I guess anybody that is watching, they already see what the topic is. But in case you click on the episode and you don't see it, I do want to put it in the beginning of the episode. Our topic is top 5 DC characters, because I feel like every episode we get an hour in to it, and then we get to the topic, and it's the first time we actually talk about the actual topic. So our topic today is going to be top 5 DC characters. But yeah, as for me, chilling. My sister and her wife are down, so been hanging out with them. They got here Wednesday night, so we went and saw Superman with them yesterday. It was a family affair. We had you, me, my mom, my sister, her wife, cousin Logan, and his mom, all up there. We went to McDonald's beforehand, got some snack wraps. So good. Yeah, so it's just been a good week. I have been slowly trying to continue watching Smallville now that we're talking about Superman stuff. It's not easy. I haven't had a lot of time, obviously, because they've been here, so I've been kind of hanging out with them. I told you I played pickleball for the first time yesterday. Not really full-on pickleball. We kind of just were kind of volleying the ball back and forth, but pretty fun. It may be something that I continue doing, because I need to get more physically active for sure. And yeah, it was pretty fun. I told you there was something. I think it's my baseball experience, even though I don't have a ton of baseball experience. I think my baseball experience has made it to where when the ball was coming towards me, I had auto aim on. I just instantly would just whack that ball right back to Grace. So yeah, that was pretty fun. Just been hanging out, did a bunch of shopping yesterday. Got this Superman t-shirt for the movie yesterday. So yeah, just been hanging out. I am a little bit under the weather though, so that's not too fun, but it doesn't feel like anything too crazy yet. So hopefully it's just a little kind of head cold and not the whole ass flu. That flu, y'all may know if you pay attention, because we had to postpone the podcast by a week. That flu took both of us out. We were kind of fucked up there. So hopefully I ain't got the flu. Hopefully it's just a little head cold that I got going on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So we don't have a lot of news this week. So I did add 2 kind of discussion situations. But in news, first, Julian McMahon, who he was the original live action Doctor Doom from the Fantastic Four movies, has sadly passed away. I don't know what his age was. I don't know what his cause of death was, but I think
he was 56. I think
something like that. He was in his 50s, I believe. But yeah, just wanted to note that, because we are kind of a nerdy podcast to an extent, and we both grew up with those movies, so he was the OG kind of Doctor Doom for us, so definitely sad, definitely condolences to his family and his friends for sure.
I mean, Doctor Doom was one of my favorite comic book villains of all time, so obviously that one hit a little bit hard to see him pass. 'Cause, again, that's another movie that we grew up on watching. That's one I
Right.
just rewatched like recently, and so seeing him pass does definitely suck because he did a very good job as Doom. I feel like.
For sure. Some lighter news though. I did kind of cover it real quick. The snack wrap is back. This isn't nerdy news. This is very random news from food news, but I wanted to
Fruity
put it in
news.
here. I wanted to put it in here because this means a lot to me because the snack wrap was as a kid that was my favorite thing. That was my go-to at McDonald's. And so it's back. I said we got it yesterday, and it's still great. It is not the same chicken that they used back in the day, obviously, but it's familiar enough. Is kind of what I said. Like it's close enough that I'm willing to accept it, and I have added it back into my go-to McDonald's order for sure. Is at least one snack wrap will be ordered every time I go to McDonald's. So that was good. What did you think? Because was that your first time having it?
That
Or
was
did you
my
have it as a
first
kid?
ever snack wrap. I've never had a snack wrap before. That was the
Okay.
first time because me and my family we were never really like big McDonald's eaters or anything like that. And even
Right.
if we were, I would just usually get like a kids meal or something like that. But
Right.
yeah, I actually very much so enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Grace, your sister gave it like a 7 out of 10. I think that's probably what I would give it as well. It was
Yeah, I'd
pretty
probably give
decent.
it
I'd probably
like a 8.
yeah.
sure.
I'd probably it's probably somewhere in my rotation too. I had that with like a McCrispy chicken sandwich, so I think that's probably just gonna
Yeah.
be my go-to order from now on. So,
And there's a hack. There was a hack that I kind of figured out. So the original snack wrap was there was the ranch snack wrap, there was a honey mustard one, and then they had like a chipotle one or whatever. So when we were kids, I would always get the ranch one or the chipotle one. That one was pretty good. Grace always got the honey mustard one. She was obsessed with honey mustard. Anytime, like even when she got a kids meal, she got nuggets, honey mustard. She as a kid was obsessed with that McDonald's honey mustard, and it is pretty good.
yeah.
So she would always get the honey mustard snack wrap, but they did not bring that back. So I told her, bro, just order a ranch snack wrap with no ranch and ask for a packet of honey mustard. So that's what she did, and she was like, yeah, it pretty much tastes exactly like it used to. So there's a hack for anybody that wishes they had honey mustard snack wrap. Or really, you could do that with any snack wrap. Just get a snack
You
wrap
really
with no
could.
sauce, and then ask for buffalo sauce, hot mustard, honey mustard, ketchup, barbecue sauce, anything.
Ooh,
So
that shit with buffalo sauce, that might hit.
that shit would be
might
fire.
hit.
So there's the hack right there. Ask for a ranch with no sauce, and then ask for a sauce packet. But yeah, it's pretty good. Definitely back in my rotation. So yeah, that's kind of like all the news we have. Oh no, wait, no. Something I did see yesterday. This is the last piece of news. This is the biggest piece of news. James Gunn did an interview. I literally saw this yesterday as I got home. I looked on Twitter after the movie. Doing him, he's doing press obviously for the movie.
Right.
He said that the plan, and I don't know how set in stone this is or whatever. He does say that the plan yearly for the DC studios is to do 2 live action movies, 1 animated movie, and then like a couple of TV shows every year. So that's pretty big news. As well as he did say that he wants us to all, he wants everybody to get re-familiar with these characters in this universe, like, obviously Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, all that. But obviously at some point they do plan on bringing them all together for a Justice League movie, which,
Right.
I mean, we all could have saw that a mile away, but the fact that now
Yeah.
he's pretty much confirmed it is pretty cool. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that all develops. So that is probably the biggest news I saw. So yeah, not a ton of news this week. So I added 2 kind of just discussion points here. I've seen a lot of discussion on TikTok. I've seen it on Twitter about if Disney decides to reboot Indiana Jones, which I'm sure they will, because I'm sure Harrison Ford is done at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm sure at some point they will reboot Indiana Jones. I've seen a lot of people speculate on who could be the guy, if anybody could be the guy, to take on that role. A lot of people say it can't happen. I get it. Like, nobody's going to want anybody but Harrison Ford. I get it. But we already know Disney is going to eventually do it. So, Theo, who would be your pick to be the new Indiana Jones if you have to look at, like, current actors, like big name actors that you know of? Who could be the guy?
Shit, that's a tough question because that's such a big role to fill, and it's so funny because of just like it's stupid because it's already pretty much happened, but like I think it would be fucking hysterical if they got Alden Ehrenreich to do it.
Right.
To where it'd be like if I had a nickel for every time Alden Ehrenreich did a famous Harrison Ford character, I'd have 2 nickels.
literally
But I think that may
plays
also
both
just
of
be
Harrison
because-
Ford's biggest characters.
Yeah. It may also just be because I just want to see more of him because I'm still like not over his character in Ironheart because I really liked his performance in Ironheart, and so I'd really like to see more of him. There probably are some better answers. That was just the first name that came to mind,
Okay.
but I think that'd still be pretty cool.
So the biggest one I saw kind of in comments and stuff like that would be Glenn Powell. People think he's kind of got the charm and whatnot for it, so I can see it. But my pick, I'm not looking for like a Harrison Ford impersonation. I'm looking for someone that I just think could do that character justice. And I'm not a big Indiana Jones guy, so I could be completely wrong. My pick is a sleeper pick. I think Miles Teller would actually be a pretty good Indiana Jones.
That is definitely a sleeper pick. I can't personally see it, just because I feel like Indiana Jones has a little more of like a scruff to him, and I can't really like see Miles Teller with scruff. Like, to me personally, I just feel like he looks best like clean shaven and stuff like that. And not to say they can't do Indiana Jones clean shaven, it just doesn't seem right for the character. But like, I'm not gonna be mad if they go with Miles Teller because I love Miles Teller. He's one of my favorite actors. So it's like, if he's in a movie, I'm there. Like, I love his performances, but like,
Right.
it's definitely an off one, at least where I'm sitting at right now.
And again,
But I
I'm
wouldn't
not
be
a
mad at
big, not a big Indiana Jones guy. So again, I don't know the character that well. I just feel like when I visualize him kind of wearing the fit, I feel like it works for me. But
Right.
all right, there we go. So you go Alden Ehrenreich, I go Miles Teller. But the forefront leading fan cast seems to be Glenn Powell. So yeah, our other kind of discussion here. I actually saw the Escape Pod podcast do this on TikTok, and I thought, wow, that's a really fun idea. So let's do our own version of it. So if you, Theo, decide to go, you want to, let's set the scene. You want to go on a nice tropical vacation, right? You're gonna go to Guarma. That's where you're gonna go.
Gonna go to Tahiti.
Yeah. You're going to get on that plane. You're going by yourself. I'm not going with you. Rachel, family, nobody's going with you. You're by yourself.
Right.
Oh, shit. The plane's going down. The plane is going down, right?
I mean, someone.
The plane is going down, and you wash up on a planet, on an island all by yourself, right?
Right.
You're all alone. Conveniently, this is such a stupid situation. Conveniently, though, there is electricity and a TV and a DVD player where you are stranded, okay? And before you got on the plane, you went, oh shit, just in case this plane goes down and I wash up on a desert island, but there is a TV with a DVD player, I'm going to bring 3 movies with me. So while I'm stranded on this desert island, I at least have 3 movies that I can watch consistently, because God knows how long you're going to be on this island, right? Could be days, months, weeks, years, minutes, I don't know. But you're packing 3 movies, 3 DVDs that you can watch consistently if you are there for months, years, right? What are your 3 movies that you're taking with you on DVD?
This is such a stupid fucking like hypothetical scenario.
Right. I just think it's fun, but
It's like, what are the fucking chances?
right.
Man, that's a good fucking question.
I have one, which is an obvious one. But other than that, I have no clue what my other 2 would be, so I have to think about it.
Man, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna bring La La Land.
Okay.
I think La La Land is a great pick. I think definitely there's some like romance in there, and a little bit of like a sob story, but also just because I have that heavy jazz connection, so I think that'll keep me dated for a while.
Right.
It's either that or Whiplash, and I feel like Whiplash is way too fucking like it's too
Right.
hardcore. I'm already in like such a terrible scenario already. The last thing I need is to see this kid going through the fucking ringer at the hands of J.K. Simmons for 2.5 hours. So I think a little like a lighter romance tale of La La Land I think will work better. I'm gonna say you're probably gonna fucking hate this pick. I'm gonna say Steven Universe the movie, just because
Okay.
I have
would I hate
that
that
heavy
pick?
connection and I fucking love that movie, and it's great because it's a quick watch. It's like 90 minutes, so it's a very quick
Right.
watch, and it's a very fun watch for me. So I think that's probably gonna be my 2. God, do I want to go with like a stupid pick for the? I feel like I want to go with a stupid pick for the, but it's like, what are the? There's so many stupid picks I could go with here. You know what? I'm gonna say to put it on theme. I'm gonna say Muppets Treasure Island. That's gonna
Okay.
be my on theme pick. So I
Yeah.
think those are gonna be my fucking 3 movies, fucking diabolical picks of La La Land, Steven Universe the movie, and Muppets Treasure Island.
All right, all right. You know, my picks. I would say Revenge of the Sith, but kind of like you said, it is pretty dark, so I'm not sure I want to like bring that with me. So I'm gonna bring Superbad with me because that's just my favorite
good
comedy.
Pick, good pick.
My favorite comedy, so I know that's gonna make me laugh. I'm gonna bring. You're gonna be like holy glaze because I've been talking about this multiple times. I'm gonna bring Cheaper by the Dozen with me because I genuinely just love that movie and it's just a really feel good movie. And my last one, I might bring like Endgame because that is like a superhero movie, so I get like my superhero fix, but it's also like a pretty happy ending. It's sad, but it's still kind of a happy ending. So I might bring Endgame, Superbad, and Cheaper by the Dozen.
I'm gonna, you know what? I came up with an even stupider idea. I'm gonna sub out my Treasure Island pick with Muppets Christmas Carol, just in case it's December.
That's true. That's true. You need some
You
sort of
never know.
Christmas vibe.
It could be December, and you could need a Christmas movie, and that's the best Christmas movie
That's
right
true.
there. So
I will say Cheaper by the Dozen kind of ends during Christmas time, so that'll fill
there you
my
go.
Christmas movie.
There you go.
For my there's like one scene at the end where they're all having dinner, and it's like there's Christmas lights outside. That's pretty much it.
in the 1 in 12 chance this plane is going down in December, I'll be ready.
Right. All right. So there we go. Our picks. My pick: Cheaper by the Dozen, Superbad, and Endgame. And Theo's picks are La La Land, Steven Universe, and what was it? Muppets Christmas Carol.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
There we go. All right. So let us know in the comments though if you have your 3 deserted on an island movies. Drop them in the comments for sure. That would be a very fun topic to like read through comments and see what people's picks would be.
Right. There's
So-
another. We'll do this another time, but there's one that I want to do with you where it's like you're like
Heyo.
fucking goddamn whiplash. Sorry about that. There's like this video I feel like I sent to you like a month ago of these guys that were doing just like the stupidest like watch throughs of like 5 movies back to back to back. I want to do this at some point just to see what kind of stupid funny things we could do of like
Okay.
the worst back to back movies to like watch.
Bet. Yeah, again, by the way, I want to add, I am a little under the weather, so if you guys hear me sniffling, I apologize. It's not great for a podcast, but I didn't want to postpone the whole podcast, 2 podcasts really, for some sniffles. So,
I
but I also want
I
to...
also want to point out to
Go
the
ahead.
fans that are watching this, or just anybody listening to this, I guess.
Yeah.
I was very confused when I first read the notes because you wrote like Desert Island 3 movies, and you wrote it as Desert Island.
Yeah,
as in,
I realized that I
food
I accidentally put an extra S on it. Oh,
I just
man.
thought that was funny. I wanted to mention that.
I want to ask you a question too before we hop into this topic because your ringtone set it off for me. Have you seen the movie Soul?
Yes, I've seen Soul.
Okay. Did you like it?
I thought it was good. I didn't care too much for it. I thought it was good. It's not something I really care to rewatch. If I do watch it again, I'm not going to be mad about it. But it's not like
Right.
it's not anything like peak Pixar or anything like that. for
Okay.
sure.
I only ask because obviously it's got a very heavy jazz influence in
Right.
like half of the aspect of the movie. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, song of the week though. We're flying through because we ain't got no news. So, song of the week. What do you got, Theo?
I have a very funny one. It is "Digging Your Scene" by the Blow Monkeys. So earlier this week, James Gunn released this whole playlist on Spotify for the Superman movie, where he pretty much gives like a little brief like introduction for each like character and what he thinks that they would be listening to and stuff like that. And I was going through the playlist and stuff like that, and I was rocking out to it because there was a bunch of different kind of stuff on there. And I get to Metamorphose section, and this was like one of the first songs on there. And it just is like a song that is just continuously adding like new and different elements as the song progresses, and I love that shit. And it's very
Makes a lot of
80s
sense for his
coded.
character.
Yeah, exactly. It makes a lot of sense for its. That's like what the whole playlist is, because like there will be songs in there of like Lois Lane, who's like very like punk rock. So there's like a bunch
Is
of punk
Hawk
rock
Girls
songs out there.
is Hawk Girls music just eagle screeches for 3 minutes?
it's just 30 minutes of eagle screeches. Lex Luthor is very like kind of almost like self-centered and like superiority complex kind of like songs
Right.
and stuff like that. So like very like ego booster songs. So
Right.
it's a very good playlist. I'd recommend people go and listen
That's
to
cool.
a lot of the songs on there because there's a lot of good stuff. But this was the one that caught my attention the most because there's a bunch of different elements and it works very well with each other. And it is 80s, so I do love it very much. So I love 80s songs and stuff like that. So I really like this song.
But that's something they should do for more movies too. I feel like that's not something I hear
Yes, I
too
feel
often.
like that'd be so cool.
I've heard like I think I actually saw Isabel Merced say it. She like makes playlists for her characters, and I think she may share them publicly. So it's not like an official thing, but she does it for like Dina in The Last of Us. I know she made like a playlist of what she listened to, depending on what episode they were filming and stuff like that. So that's cool. But definitely like more movies should like partner with Spotify and shit and do like actual playlists.
I remember when like Across the Spider-Verse was coming out. They I think one of like the head writers for the Spider-Punk comics released like a playlist that is like Spider-Punk would like listen to these kind of songs and stuff like that. And it's just a whole like punk rock playlist, and that's how I really got into punk rock, because of like that character and that playlist too, because there was a lot of good stuff on there.
Right.
But because that playlist really blew up around that time when that movie came out, so it's like that's how I got into punk rock, stuff like that. And I feel like that they should do more stuff like that for a lot more, especially like superhero stuff. I feel like a lot of people would be like, what kind of songs would like Batman listen? What kind of songs would
Right.
fucking the Teen Titans listen to and shit like
Right.
that? So I feel like that'd be super cool to see more characters and more superhero
sure.
movie stuff do that.
Yeah. All right. So, my song of the week. This is kind of the story behind it is when we were picking up Grace and Leah from the airport. They hopped in the car, and like I was kind of like my mom was driving, so I'm always kind of like DJ, right? I always have my phone connected, so I'm like, well, what can we listen to that Grace and Leah will like? And my go-to normally is like Disney Channel, High School Musical, Lemonade Mouth music, because we all kind of like that shit. So I just like I have like that playlist that we listen to. So I hit shuffle on that. So my song of the week is gonna be "Push It to the Limit" by Corbin Bleu. Wild pick.
Hell yeah.
Great song.
Epic pick.
Love that movie. It's been years. I need to watch that movie again. Jump in. But yeah, we were just jamming out to that song on the way home from the airport at like midnight the other day. So yeah, that's my song of the week.
That's
Very
a
good
banger
song.
pick.
Yeah. All right. So our official topic for this week's podcast episode is going to be on theme with the fact that Superman has come out this week. And again, we are filming a bonus podcast literally right after this. So if you're watching this podcast, go check that out if you have not seen it, because it should be up before this actually. So yeah, our top 5 DC characters to stay on theme with the fact that Superman came out this week. We're gonna switch it up. Theo had a good idea before, right as we started recording, to instead of going number by number, we're just gonna share. One of us is gonna share our list, and the other one will share our list. So yeah, who wants to go first?
I guess I can go first. I'm kind of I'd say I'm probably the bigger DC fan here, so I got a good bit more to talk about. I also have a lot of like honorable mentions that I can go through first.
That is something I do want to say though before we do get into this. My list, there are DC characters I like, but I'm primarily really a Batman fan. That's really my bread and butter of DC. I haven't explored too much. Maybe like Flash is probably the most I've explored outside of Batman for DC. So majority of my list is going to be Batman characters. So I just want to preface that off rip. So
right, no, it's fair. It's fair. Let's see. For honorable mentions first, I'm just gonna rattle them off real quick. We got Lex Luthor. We got Joker. John Kent, the son of Superman, he's like bisexual son of Superman. I'll talk a little bit more about him later.
yeah.
Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, Jon Stewart as the Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Alfred Pennyworth. If you don't got Alfred Pennyworth on like at least your honorable mentions, something's wrong here, because this man's goated. Amanda Waller, Swamp Thing, Raven, Beast Boy, and the Ventriloquist.
Nice.
All right. Number 5, I'm going to give it to Tim Drake,
Ooh.
the best Robin. Also,
All right.
fellow bicon like myself.
There you go.
When I came out as like bisexual, and when I kind of realized I was bisexual and stuff like that, he was one of the first. Like,
Wait, you're bisexual?
characters. Yes. If you couldn't tell. When I did come out, he was one of the first characters that I really latched onto, who was like also like bisexual and also like an icon in that manner. Because like I've always been like a DC fan, I've always been a Batman fan, so there being like a Robin who was bisexual, I had like a very deep connection to that, and so I would just keep looking up stuff, keep reading like comics of his and stuff like that, and so that was very fun of an adventure to take with him. Really like that Robin too, just in general, because I feel like he's just super badass. He's always like, because he's kind of like similar. He's a Batman protege, so obviously he's gonna be very like calculated and stuff like that. He's gonna be like detective stuff and stuff like that. He's gonna be a fucking badass hand-to-hand fighter. So I really like his character a lot.
Right.
At number 4, I have probably one of my favorite just comic villains in general. I have Two-Face, who I think is a very underrated character, in my opinion. I think he's fucking dope. I love the simplicity of the character and where it's just like a coin flip is going to decide everything that I do. I'm very like justice-based, and there's no more sensible justice than the flipping of a coin and stuff like that. Also, two-tone shit like him where it's like half black, half white. I love that as a design every time. It doesn't matter what it is. I love it. And I think they did a really good job designing his character. I love his character a lot. I just love seeing him in everything, whether it's like movies or comic books, because they just like started doing like a whole Two-Face line of comics, and I've been very much so getting into that, reading that, and it's been very enjoyable so far.
Nice.
Number 3, I obviously have the GOAT, Batman. I really don't know how you have a top 5 DC list with Batman not on there. It's really just DC's bread and butter. It's their best character. It's their most popular character. A lot of the best written stuff they've got for it is that character. I mean, me, as much as like probably most other people, this is the character that really gets you into DC comics and stuff like that, whether it's the movies or the games or even the comics and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that he's in that just has incredible writing, incredible storytelling, and incredible characters. Every time, you're not going to miss with Batman. Most times over not. And I'm very excited to see where they go with Batman in this new DC universe. I don't know if they're planning on attaching like the Batman that they've already done into this new universe, or if they're going to create their own. I'm not too sure.
No, they're making a
where
new
it's
one.
going to go yet. But I'm excited to see where they go with that, because I think Batman's always a cool character. You're never really going to fail with that more times than not. My number 2 is, I think, a sleeper pick, in my opinion, in terms of DC characters. I'm giving it to Green Arrow. In terms of, like, obviously, like, popularity and stuff like that, he's definitely not as high as some of the other characters, but, like, there was a good amount of time right at the same time when I was reading, like, Fantastic Four, where I was also reading, like, Green Arrow comics.
Right.
And, man, the quality of writing with his comics is top-notch. Like, I absolutely recommend, like, if anybody's trying to get into reading DC comics and reading, like, different characters and stuff like that, I definitely recommend him as a character for sure, because his stuff is just so much fun to read every time. He is such a fun character. He is such an interesting character. He has a lot of interesting stories going on, and it has that kind of, like, Spider-Man simplicity, and where it's, like, it's not, like, a bunch of cosmic stuff going on. It's very, like, street-level sort of character.
Right.
And so I really enjoy reading his stuff a lot. And he's definitely one of my more favorite characters in the DC universe. But obviously there's a number 1, and it is one that I've made very obvious over not only this past week, but just as long as we've been doing this podcast and for the past few years now. It is Superman. I love Superman so much. I've been loving Superman for over the past 2 years now. I have the shirt on. I have a few more shirts in my closet that are Superman related. He, as a character, is like second in terms of shirts that I have to Kermit the Frog himself, which says a lot because I fucking love Kermit the Frog as well. But Superman is just such an incredible hero, and it's such an incredible inspiration to me. I feel like he's definitely been someone that has like helped me kind of see a brighter light to like life and the world and humanity and stuff like that, especially with this new movie that come out that really kind of reflects that. I've been reading a shit ton of his comics over the past like 2 years or so, and I've been really enjoying everything that they've been putting out with that. Even in terms of like TV shows and movies and stuff like that, I've been watching a lot of that. I spoke recently that I was watching a lot of Superman and Lois, and that's been a really good show. I rewatched a lot of the original movies in preparation for this new one, which has been a lot of fun as well. At some point, me and you are going to be watching Superman Returns, because that's like the only Superman movie I've never really seen. Right. So I'm excited to go and see that. But yeah, he's just my favorite character. I have a lot of emotional connection to this character. He inspires me a lot to just kind of like be the best that I can be and stuff like that. So he's my number 1 for sure.
Nice. Yeah, solid list, bro. Solid list for sure. Definitely some people that are also on my list and some that are in my honorable mentions and stuff for sure. So my honorable mentions list, I'm going to start off, and it might be crazy, I'm going to start off with Superman, because I don't have too much of a connection to it. As what I kind of said about him yesterday at the movie and stuff, that I didn't think it was a bad movie. It was a good movie. Just like personally didn't connect too much to me. I feel like that's a lot with Superman. So yeah, I have him in honorable mentions because I'm trying to like get more into him. He's just a character like that I not only am I not too connected, but I also never really saw like I've watched at least the first one I've seen, but I saw it as like a kid like once. So it's like I barely remember that. So my Superman stuff is like Smallville, Superman Returns, Man of Steel, but even that stuff I didn't really watch. It was more just like kind of just around, you know what I'm saying? As a kid, I just remember it. Man of Steel is probably like my biggest. Man of Steel / Batman vs Superman versus Justice League is like my biggest connection to Superman, and that's kind of in a way a strain from the character. Like it's a different version of the character than normal. So like, yeah. Long story short, I don't have a huge connection to him. So, but I did want to put him into honorable mentions because I do like him and I do want to like him a little bit more. I just don't have too much of a connection. Red Hood, another honorable mention for me. I love that story. That is like such a dark, sad story, but it's so good. And seeing Jason Todd go from being Robin to being Red Hood. So that's another one. Alfred, of course, is an honorable mention. So good. Whatever version, bro. Even like the Jeremy Irons version from like the Snyder stuff is even pretty decent. That's probably like not great compared to some of the other stuff, but even he was pretty decent as Alfred. Like, so yeah, that stuff was just great. Deathstroke, I fuck with Deathstroke. That motherfucker is pretty crazy. The Riddler, I love the Riddler. That's my favorite version of the Riddler is obviously the Batman's version, but any version of the Riddler I think is great. Jim Carrey, that's so different than the Batman's version, but still so good, so over the top and fun. Commissioner Gordon, I love. I feel like, as crucial as Alfred is to any Batman story, I feel like Commissioner Gordon is also super crucial to his story. And pretty much every version I see of Commissioner Gordon, I love. Mr. Freeze, I love his story where he's not evil at all. He literally just wants to save his wife. You know what I'm saying? And like he just has to do what he has to do. Peacemaker, I love. Obviously, John Cena probably is a big reason why I love. But I think even in Joe, he's just a fun character. Like he's such an asshole, but it's so funny. So that stuff is just great. I'm super excited for season 2. And my last honorable mention is a sleeper pick. Static Shock, bro. I remember watching that show as a kid. I used to love that show as a kid, and I had an action figure of him, I believe. So that's another one I just love because I have a lot of nostalgia for at least the animated show again, because that was like a 2000s animated show. So I just have like a lot of nostalgia around that character because I remember watching it on like Warner Brothers Kids on Saturday morning, waiting for like Power Rangers to come on or whatever. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. My top 5 though, I'm gonna come in at number 5, Shazam. I love that character. I remember like the first time we both saw that first movie was on the cruise ship, that cruise we went on. That was great. We went, so backstory for y'all, we went on a cruise from like my 21st birthday, is like 2019. Neither me or Theo had seen Shazam, and it was like 9 o'clock at night, and they were showing it at the pool on like the big screen, and we had nothing to do, so we had like, I feel like we grabbed some like pizza or something like that, and we just like sat down and like watched this movie on lounge chairs, and we both were like, this movie is fucking awesome. This is a great movie, fun movie. And since then, I like kind of fell in love with the character. I know a lot of people did not like. I don't even think you saw it. The second one, Fury of the Gods. It's definitely an interesting movie, but it's still fun. It still has like kind of the charm of the first one and the comedy and kind of the family moments and stuff of the first one. So I don't think it's bad. I enjoy that movie. But in general, I just love the character. I love the idea that he's a kid that can then become this really huge, jacked dude. I think it's like a fun idea. And seeing, again, in the first movie, seeing him like literally being this giant jacked dude with like a 12-year-old kid's mind is just fun. Number 4 is honestly probably the first DC character I actually loved. That's gonna be Flash. As a kid, he was like the first DC character that really stood out to me. I've always just loved him. He's like, to me, I don't know the timeline, but to me he's the OG speedster in superhero stuff. Again, I don't know if he was the original, but like to me, I'm like, that's like, or at least he's the most famous speedster. And I always think those powers are pretty cool. So, and I never finished watching it, but I remember watching at least like 3 seasons of The Flash while it was on TV. Like I didn't just like stream it. I remember like sitting down on Tuesday at 8 p.m. on CW watching like the new episode of Flash for like 3 years. So I really love that show. I need to like lock in and watch that too and like finish it. Grant Gustin is the best version of Flash, bro. He's so good. So yeah, Flash is gonna be my number 4. My number 3 is gonna be my favorite Robin, Mr. Dick Grayson, the OG Robin. You can't go wrong with him, bro. He is such a good character. Great backstory, similar backstory to Batman losing his parents in like that circus accident. I know it sounds kind of goofy, but it still connects to Batman, so they have like that connection there. And then obviously his stuff where he becomes Nightwing is so cool. So yeah, I've always loved Dick Grayson as a little kid. Whenever there was like a Batman thing, I always like enjoyed Robin and stuff like that. So Robin in general is probably my number 3, whether it is Dick Grayson or Jason Todd or Damian Wayne or what's the other one? The one that you said? My bad. I'm blanking. Tim Drake. Whoever it is. I just enjoy Robin in general. But Dick Grayson is definitely my favorite Robin. So that's my number 3 pick. My number 2 and number 1 are clear as day. My number 2 is going to be the Joker, who you didn't even mention in your honorable mentions, I don't believe.
He was the right after Lex Luthor.
Oh, okay. All right. You must have just passed by him. But he's my number 2. I mean, what else can I say? Like, you can't go wrong with Joker, bro. He's great. And every version of Joker I've seen, I've loved, including the Jared Leto stuff. I wouldn't say I love it, but there's some good stuff in Suicide Squad and in the Snyder Cut where he shows up that there is some good stuff that he brings to the character. Obviously, Heath Ledger is the best Joker, in my opinion. Joaquin did a great job, but I don't think anybody could top Heath Ledger. But just the character in itself is just such a great character, bro. The fact that he's literally just so evil, bro. Like, there's no redeeming qualities. But also the fact that he does not want to kill Batman because he wants the game to keep going makes it even more evil, but makes it even more like fun. Because no matter what happens, he's never just gonna kill Batman. So yeah, I just love that character. Again, the Arkham games version with Mark Hamill, that also is like peak Joker. That's such good shit. So yeah, he's my number 2. I can't get enough Joker. I literally, some people might say they're tired of Joker because he's like literally their most popular villain, but it's like, to me, I will never, if they do a Batman movie or a TV show or a game and Joker's the villain, I am never gonna roll my eyes. I'm gonna be like, all right, bet, let's go. So yeah, Joker's my number 2, and my number 1 is the complete flip side of Mr. Theo. There, my number 1 is gonna be Batman. Again, you cannot go wrong. He's their most popular character. I think he's their best character. I resonate with his story, losing my dad. I definitely. Because I always liked Batman, but definitely, and maybe this is partially why the Batman is so connected to me, is because, like, I watched that after losing my dad. So, like, I understood his character more because I understood, especially that version, wanting to kind of disappear and be a recluse and stuff like that. And especially even in the wrestling community, that's basically what I did. Like, I basically disappeared, and if I showed up at a show, like Bruce Wayne showing up at like, City Hall for the funeral or whatever, and everybody's like, oh shit, what the hell? That literally would be me if I showed up at a show. People would be like, what the hell is this guy doing here? We haven't seen him in 2 years, So I definitely connected more with the character after losing my dad. And that's where he really became like one of, not just my favorite DC character, but one of my favorite characters in anything. But also, yeah, you can't go wrong. It's hard to honestly mess him up at this point too, because it's like,
right,
anytime there's a new take on him, whether it's a comic, a game, a video game, a toy, whatever, movie, show, it's hard to mess him up because his story is so set in stone and it's so simple. You have like a blueprint of what to follow, and as long as you follow that blueprint, it's gonna be good, whatever it is. So yeah, I could talk for hours about Batman. He's my guy. I literally have, in the background here, you can see I have one Henry Cavill Superman, I have Riddler, I have Joker, and then the rest are just, it's the Batman. It's Robert Pattinson, Michael Keaton, and Christian Bale's Batman, because literally it's just my favorite DC guy. So yeah, that's my top 5 list: Shazam, Flash, Dick Grayson, Joker, and Batman.
My top 5 again is Tim Drake, Two-Face, Batman, Green Arrow, and Superman.
Boom. Is there anything else we want to talk about though? Because we only are 40 minutes in. This is we have like an hour that we haven't filled, so uncharacteristically
it's
short.
Short one. Yeah.
Do we want to maybe talk
Thanks for running.
more so? Like, do we want to talk about characters that may like are on my list that may not be on your list or something like that? like Dick Grayson wasn't on your
Yeah.
list. Do you want to dive into what you think of Dick Grayson?
We can dive into Dick Grayson. I do like Dick Grayson a lot. It's just not a Robin that I've really gotten into all that much. I was thinking that if you do ever get into like reading like DC comics and stuff like that, I would highly recommend like the Nightwing comics just because I hear people talking about that shit all the time. Like I feel like that's a lot of like some of the best stuff that DC's got going on in terms of like writing wise and whatnot. So I would definitely recommend you get into that sort of stuff because I feel like you would love it. But I mean, he's the OG Robin. You really can't go wrong with him. He's just the classic. I just like Tim Drake more because I have just that more personal connection to Tim Drake. And
I think another reason why too he is my favorite is because, again, I kind of grew up with like I grew up watching the Batman and Robin movie, which I know a lot of people don't like. But as a kid, I loved it, and that was like my favorite Batman movie. And I watched it all the time, and obviously Dick Grayson was the Robin in that movie, so like that was my first experience with Robin and stuff. So that may also be why I care about him more than the others. But yeah, what about Shazam for you?
Shazam. I mean, I did like the movie. It's just that I haven't really gotten into the character in any sort of other like capacity, other than the movie. So it's like I can't really like justify putting him like on my list really, just because it's like I just haven't gotten enough of him. You know. If there are things where I'll watch like some animated movies or something like that, if they do bring this character back in the DCU, if like I start reading more of his comics, then I can definitely see him getting higher on the list because I do think he is definitely like a very fun character and has a lot of cool powers and stuff like that. So it's definitely a plausible character to put on your list. It's just like I'm just not there. You know.
The Flash.
Kind of a similar situation, honestly. I just haven't gotten enough of the Flash, but he's definitely I think a bigger character, I'd say, in terms of like the DC. He's definitely one of the more like popular ones, I'd say.
Definitely.
He's like, to me, it's like you got the original 7 of the Justice League, and that's like those are like the big 7 right there, I'd say.
I just thought,
depending on who you have.
I just thought of the story. So again, another crucial part of my childhood was watching, or at least my childhood when it comes to DC, was watching Justice League Unlimited because that was like the animated show when we were kids. I think it was on Cartoon Network, wasn't it?
I think so, or it was on some other channel or something.
But I remember watching it a lot. So that was that honestly was probably my biggest connection to DC because I watched that more than I watched any movie, anything from DC was that show. And so that's where Flash, that was my first introduction to Flash, and that's where I loved him. I just remember being on the playground at school, and we would be like, let's play Justice League. I'd be like, hey, do you guys watch the Justice League? And, you know, whatever boys and girls would be like, yeah. And so I'd be like, let's play Justice League, right? And so we'd be like, all right, cool. And so we would start picking who we're going to be. And some little girl would be like, I'm going to be Wonder Woman. And some little boy would be like, I'm going to be Superman. And I would be like, all right, I'm going to be Flash. Because Flash was my favorite. And I'm just imagining this little fat kid trying to run around thinking he's Flash, but he's probably running slower than everybody else. And that is fucking hilarious. Oh man, because I've always been chunky, so that's why I'm like, it is pretty funny that like I was the Flash, but I was probably running slower than everybody else on the playground.
that's like a little cartoon bit right there.
Yeah, that's a skit. That's a skit for sure.
That's a skit.
Oh man.
I also watched that show a lot when I was a kid. That's why I have Jon Stewart as like the Green Lantern on my honorable mentions because like that's why I fell in love with that character. He's my favorite.
Right.
Green Lantern. I want to read more of him, and I want to read more of Guy Gardner.
Yes. Yes.
He was amazing last night in the movie. I want to read more of both of them. They're both
for sure. Do you have any characters that you want to bring up?
I do want to bring up. I think maybe because I have them as honorable mentions. I have Joker and Lex Luthor as honorable mentions, and I can like realistically see them being like 1 and 2 in terms of like DC villains. I have Two-Face higher. I like Two-Face a lot more as a character for me personally because again just both like design wise and just like the psyche of Two-Face's character is something that I can get into a lot more.
Right.
Just because I feel like it is such easier to get into because it's a matter of like simplicity almost and where it's like I really enjoy that sort of stuff. But I mean like Lex Luthor and Joker, even though I do have them as honorable mentions, they are definitely like the 1 and 2 of like DC villains, I'd say.
Right.
For sure. Definitely. I really enjoy them a lot as well.
No, for sure. Yeah, I like Two-Face too. Again, most of my shit, probably with any of this list in reality, is basing off of movies or shows rather than actual books. Sorry to comic book fans. So yeah, I think like whether it's Tommy Lee Jones or I'm forgetting the actor's name, but obviously like the Dark Knight version of him, they
Right.
both were really good portrayals, really good. I like the Dark Knight portrayal obviously more than the campy, goofy version, but still good
Right, right,
portrayals.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I like Two Face, but definitely like Lex and Joker. Honestly though, I would throw in that popularity wise, Harley Quinn might be more popular than Lex at this point. Because I feel like she's probably the
She
one or
might
two.
be, but it's also in the same argument of just like, are we really going to consider her as a supervillain at this point? Because I feel like she's definitely leaning more towards anti-hero
Right
status
at this point, yeah.
in
With
terms
the
of
honestly, probably the Margot Robbie version really is what started setting in the anti-hero version. Because I feel like
right,
beforehand
and then
she
it's
was
just
always a
rolled through
villain.
there with like the Harley Quinn show and stuff
Right,
like
right,
that, and all the comics and stuff like that.
for sure.
She's definitely leaning less of a villain at this point, and more towards an anti-hero.
Right,
Whereas I feel like Lex Luthor is definitely just straight villain.
yeah.
He's just
Have you?
straight villain.
Did you ever watch the? I don't think you did, but when they did like the Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline between like Arrow and Flash and shit, did you ever watch
I
that?
don't think
So I had already fallen off watching Flash, and I didn't watch. I think I watched like the first season of Supergirl. It was pretty good, but I didn't like continue. And Arrow, I tried multiple times. I could never get into it. But I heard that they were doing this like because this was like 2018 or something like that. So this is when like Infinity War and Endgame was huge, and so I heard that they were doing like this huge crossover event. Like it was one episode each. So like there'd be a Flash episode, a Green Arrow episode, a Supergirl episode,
Right.
and then like I think it was like this Future Tomorrow team or whatever had a show their episode, and it like aired. I don't remember if it aired like days back to back or if it's just like back to back on the same day. But each episode continued the storyline with all these characters coming together. But they went and they got other characters. I don't know if you even know this. They went and they actually got Tom Welling's Superman from like Smallville. They got Brandon Routh's Superman from Superman Returns. They got Kevin Costner as Batman, but he was actually like Batman when he shows up because obviously he did the voice. But like not Kevin Costner, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. The Batman, right? But they had him being like a retired Batman that they kind of go to for advice and stuff like that, which is really cool. And John Cryer from Two and a Half Men plays Lex Luthor, and I'm not gonna lie, it sounds stupid. He actually was great, bro. He was actually really good as Lex Luthor in
Okay.
this show. Definitely, that's something too we should probably sit down and watch. Is like watch those episodes because it's actually a really cool concept and a really cool storyline where they have to like go back in time and things like that. And then I think it ends with like, sorry for spoilers for anybody, but I know Theo doesn't care. There's like a really big, like Green Arrow's like love interest in the show that they had building up for like seasons and seasons and seasons. She like I think she dies or something like that, and that's how it ends. So it's like super emotional. It was really good, but I did want to point that out because John Cryer, not someone you would suspect to be like a great Lex Luthor, but he actually is pretty good. He definitely plays more of like a chicken shit Lex Luthor rather than like an imposing one. But it's really funny because he'll be like saying some shit, and then somebody will tell him like shut the fuck up, and he'll be like, okay, like it's pretty funny. So yeah, Red Hood. You want to talk about Red
Ooh.
Hood?
I want to talk about Amanda Waller first. I
Okay.
feel like she's one of the most slept-on characters in the
Okay.
fucking DC, bro. She is such a fucking bitch. I love it. She is a heel to the fucking
Oh, yeah.
T, bro.
For sure.
I fucking love her so much. Anytime she's just getting up into anybody's shit and just fucking pulling strings and just fucking taking control of shit. She is fucking awesome. I love Amanda Waller.
So
I can't wait to see more of her.
I agree. I can't say too much because my only real exposure that I can remember is like Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker. But Viola Davis as Amanda Waller was absolutely incredible, dude.
She's
that
incredible.
that stuff was great.
She's incredible, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, I hope when since she was in Peacemaker and stuff like that, I hope that when Amanda Waller comes around in this new universe, that it is Viola Davis and they don't recast. I would imagine James
Yes.
Gunn wants to keep her, and again, she probably will be. So definitely hope that it's her because she's definitely. I mean, she's one of the best actresses ever. So just great,
Yeah.
great stuff. Yeah, Red Hood. How about Red Hood?
Red Hood's pretty dope. Red
Yeah.
Hood's pretty dope. I again, any of the Robins are always going to be very dope.
Right.
Red Hood's obviously a little more of an interesting one just because of his case of how like, because of just like his death and then bringing back him, and having that like dichotomy of like where he's pretty much almost the same as Batman, but The only big difference is that he kills people, which
Right.
is just the biggest difference.
Right.
I think it's definitely very interesting story wise.
I think I told you
But he's definitely
the
brutal.
biggest like I love that character, but I really love that storyline. And I think everybody loves the story. And that's like one of the nowadays. That's one of like the core Batman like stories for sure. Is that Red Hood
Yes.
story?
Yeah.
I was watching that show Titans that was on HBO and HBO Max, and like the first season was good, but then like it slowly started to decline. And by the third season, so in the I don't know if it was the first season or second season, but they introduce a new Robin, which is it's Jason Todd and whatnot, and then eventually he becomes a part of the Titans. And then in season 3, I believe they do the Red Hood storyline. They butchered this storyline, dude. It is so bad. The acting, sorry to the actor, I don't want to like be mean, but his acting was so atrocious, dude. He was like, because obviously he has to be very emotional, but he was like overselling it, bro. It was so bad, and it actually got me to stop watching the show. I completely didn't finish the season. I was like, this is so bad. So that's the one Red Hood version that I can't get behind. But every other version I've seen is great. Obviously, my biggest version, most people's probably biggest version is like the Arkham game version, because that
Right.
shit was just peak, and most people probably were exposed to it through that. But in general, just really really great stuff. Let's see who else. Mr. Freeze. You got anything you want to say about Mr. Freeze?
I like Mr. Freeze a lot. I almost put him on my honorable mentions. It's just another case of I didn't. It's not that I don't get enough of him. It's just I want more of him.
For sure.
I
For
really
sure.
like his character a lot because kind of like what you said. He's very like he doesn't do the villainy because he wants to. It's just because his wife has like a terminal illness and he wants to cure her more than anything.
Right.
And so he just kind of has to turn to this life in order to be able to help her out and stuff like that. And there's definitely that storyline in like the Arkham games where it's like Batman will fight him obviously, but then he'll also try and like help him
Right,
and stuff
right.
like that because he knows what Mr. Freeze is trying to do.
Right.
And so I think he's definitely a really cool character. I don't care for the Arnold Schwarzenegger take on the character.
Right,
It's
right.
very like it's just punny and stuff like that, and they don't really get into the depths of that character.
Right.
I think when you do get into the depths of Mr. Freeze's character, I think he's definitely one of Batman's better villains for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I like the character. Again, I also want more. If rumors are to be believed, he may be the main villain of the Batman 2 or the Batman Part 2. I hope that's the case because we definitely both want him, and he's a great character. And I think he would fit pretty well into that universe. I know that universe is very grounded, so it's going to be interesting to see how they explain the whole freezing everything. But definitely, his story will fit in that universe very, very well for sure. So I hope he is the main villain. Even if he's not the main villain, I hope he is has some presence in the film at least. And I would imagine James Gunn hasn't talked about it in like the DCU, but he seems like a character that James Gunn would really like. So I'd imagine he does have an idea to at some point fold him into that universe as well. So definitely
Right.
definitely
Him and
interesting.
Batmite.
Huh?
Him and Batmite.
Yeah. Apparently, Peacemaker we don't need to talk about. We both just enjoy it. Static Shock. You want to talk about Static Shock? On your end, at least.
I want to get more into Static Shock because he is just such a popular and very underrated character. I feel like I do remember seeing like a couple episodes here and there when I was a kid because it was mainly just reruns at that point,
Right.
pretty much when I got into it. But I would love to get more into him because he just seems like such a fun and cool character.
For sure.
And I've gotten told by other people like, even my one friend that's all the way down in Brazil, she's like, you know about Static Shock, man? He's like one of the coolest characters. We love Static Shock down here, man. And
That's
I'm like,
great.
I guess I got to get into this character. I got to know
For
more
sure.
about him.
Gotta watch the
I
show.
hope they find a way to bring him into like this DCU. I think that'd be pretty
So
cool. I
that
think a lot of people would
that
get
was
behind
something I was thinking about, and I don't think it's gonna happen, unfortunately, because I think there's a licensing issue actually. Because
of course.
Static Shock was not technically created by DC; it was created by somebody else, but then got folded into DC. But I think that person or whatever other company still has like licensing movie whatever it is. So I'm not sure that DC in itself will be able to like make a show or a movie. But I hope they can, maybe whoever owns the license can they can come to an agreement. We've seen it with Spider-Man, so it could happen. But That was something I didn't know. I thought he was a straight up DC character. He technically really isn't even a DC character. He's a character that just ended
really
up kind of showing up in the DC universe. So that is pretty funny. But yeah, that's all. That's kind of all the ones I have on my list, at least, that we can talk about that we haven't already talked about. I don't know if you have anybody else.
I'll bring up a few more characters. Because I got Raven and Beast Boy on here.
Right.
And I think Teen Titans is something that we definitely have to talk about.
Yes,
for sure.
yes.
Because that was definitely it was a big part of my childhood.
That's
for
the thing.
sure. I think
Now that
it's
I'm thinking
probably
about
also a big part of your
it,
childhood.
I did say that my first exposure to Robin was the Batman and Robin movie. That is wrong. That is a big part of it. My first exposure is the original Teen Titans show, and that's where I fell in love with Robin because I thought he was the coolest guy. And it's similar.
He's so cool.
Similar to the Justice League playground situation, when I would also say, "Hey guys, you want to be Teen Titans?" I always was Robin. I have to be Robin. So
Right.
pre-K, Kyle was running around pretending to be Robin, jumping off of the jungle gym during recess for sure. So
I love the memes. I don't know if you've seen them on like TikTok and stuff like that, where it's just people like, you got to pick any one of us to fight among the Teen Titans. You can pick any one of us, and they're like, I can pick any one of you, and they're like, yeah, any one of us, man. You can pick any one of us to fight, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go fight Robin, the normal guy, and they're just like,
yeah, you fucked up.
pick somebody else.
Yeah,
Pick somebody else, bro.
Go fight Beast Boy.
Pick
Go fight
somebody
Beast Boy.
else, bro. You will lose.
Right.
And I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
For sure.
I love how just he's like the coolest like fighter on their team for sure. 'Cause he's got that hand-to-hand experience, bro.
That show is
timeless. But I love that show so
peak,
much.
bro. Yeah, that's definitely one
I
of my
love those
favorite
characters. The
kid
writing
shows.
on that show. Fucking Slade. Oh my god, he is so fucking sick in that show. I love it so much.
No, for sure.
A character I've been getting into a lot recently in terms of like comics and stuff like that is Swamp Thing,
Okay.
who I did have on my honorable mention
I have
list.
no
He's,
experience with him at all, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really have a lot of experience with him, but man, the fucking writing of his comics is so fucking well done. It's so different
Right.
from like a traditional superhero story because it's almost like a kind of similar to like a gothic horror thing, kind of like with Werewolf by Night almost, where it's almost like a horror story almost, but it is so
Sorry.
well done. The art, the story, all that. Is
Superman
so good.
Superman just tweeted at me to tell me to get tickets to the movie that I already saw.
You gotta get tickets again.
Yes, I gotta go see it again.
Gotta get the tickets again. Gotta go see it again. Oh well. But yeah, I've been getting a lot into Swamp Thing over the past week. I think he's such a sick character. I am very excited to read more of him. And then I love how I saved him for last. I think I did this on purpose. The ventriloquist, who is also a very unknown.
Yeah, I don't know if I
character
even
almost.
know that character. Was that character
So,
in the Harley Quinn show?
I don't think so. He
Okay, I
wasn't
could be
very
wrong.
prominent in the show.
Then
If
I
he
don't think
was,
I. Then I
remember.
don't think I know the character at all.
So this is a Batman villain who is like this old guy who has this like ventriloquist dummy
Right.
that is pretty much just Scarface.
Uh-huh.
And so the entire bit is like who's really the puppet because they have this confusing bit of like because he has some sort of condition where he thinks he's the puppet but he's also being controlled by the puppet.
Right.
So it's just this puppet on this arm of the old guy who is like this mob boss because they have this whole mob operation
Okay.
led by this puppet on this guy's arm.
This is wild.
And it's so wild. It's so funny. I love it so much. He's not like a character that's brought up a lot. Like he's in the animated show a little bit. He's not in any of the games or anything like that. He was in like one episode of Gotham. But just like in the small amount of stuff that I've gotten from this character, it's just been so funny and entertaining and just such a almost similar to Two-Face, just a really cool psyche and something a lot different from a lot of other supervillains and stuff like that. Not to really call Ventriloquist a supervillain because it's an old guy with a dummy, so it's just like a villain, I guess.
Right.
But he's still a character that I enjoy a lot, even though he's not in a lot of stuff already.
For sure. I want to go back to the Teen Titans real quick though, because we didn't.
Okay,
I feel like we didn't really talk about it too much. Now, like as I'm thinking about it, that might be like the first team I can think of that I don't have like a least favorite character. I would say maybe Cyborg, but I love Cyborg. Like out of all four of them or whatever, five of them, I love literally every member of that team.
All of them get fleshed out so much.
Yes.
All their characters develop very well
Robin
in that show. They're all
is
good.
my favorite, but I also love Raven, but I also love Starfire, bro. In that show,
Yes.
I think Raven and Starfire, because I was watching the show as a kid, they may have been my first crushes. My first animated crushes was Raven and Starfire.
They're very good options.
I love
for
both
sure.
of them. They're
I
so
might be in the
so
same
good, bro.
boat.
So good. I have this clip saved on my TikTok that I love so much. that I will literally go back into my saved and just watch. It's when they all dress up as Robin when he's not there. I love that clip. And
It's so
Starfire might be my favorite part, where she's just like, "You are not Robin. What are you doing?" And then it like almost instantly cuts to her wearing a Robin outfit too. And then they're all sitting at the table being like, I think Starfire's like, "Can I have another slice of the cheese, Robin?" And then Beast Boy's like, "Sure thing, Robin." It is so good. And then you get like this noble kind of like just beautiful moment where Robin shows back up, and instead of like even making a joke or getting mad, he just goes, "Yeah, I feel pretty cool when I put my suit on too." And they all just like pass out. And it is so, I love it, dude. That is like maybe my favorite, because I gotta watch the show. I don't remember like too much. So that's probably my favorite Teen Titans scene out of the whole show, just because it honestly epitomizes like the whole team so perfectly. Like literally, where Beast Boy's just curious, Starfire just wants to have fun and be a part of it. Cyborg is just like, "Wait, you guys gotta include me." Raven is like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And then also puts on the Robin costume, and then Robin is just like, "Yeah, guys, it's cool." Like it's so good. So I love that show so much. All of those characters are really
show.
great.
I love it.
For sure.
Yeah. That's kind of everybody on my list.
For sure. There's a character, he's not my honorable mention because I know nothing about him, but it kind of reminded me when you brought up the whole fight anybody, I'll fight Robin, and then it's like, pick somebody else, bro, pick somebody else. Something about, I don't even remember his name, but Commissioner Gordon's son, who apparently just becomes a serial killer and has like the darkest...
James
Gordon.
Jr.?
He has like
I'm pretty
the
sure that's what his name is.
like darkest DC storyline ever.
Yeah.
I see that on TikTok where it's like, who do you want to be, what villain do you want in live action? And it'll be like James Gordon, and it's like, pick somebody else, bro. Please pick somebody else. Because it's just so fucked up. Right. It's just so messed up. Yeah, is that all you got?
That's kind of all you got, yeah.
All right.
There are a few characters on here, but I'd rather just save them for like the Superman discussion.
For sure.
I feel like we can connect that pretty well.
Definitely.
But yeah.
All right. Well, that's kind of the episode. Sorry.
Oh wait. We did talk about this already. Alfred Pennyworth, go.
Yes.
Absolutely
yes.
go.
Yeah, we did talk about
Batman can't be as good without Alfred there.
Dude,
that's my
Michael
opinion.
Caine as Alfred is great.
Yeah.
Oh my god, why am I blanking? Andy Serkis was also great.
Yep.
Literally like every version is
don't
incredible.
miss.
They really
They
don't.
don't miss with
They really
Alfred,
don't. Yeah, great character, and literally like he might be my emotional through line in DC Loki, because he like, especially in the Dark Knight stuff, when the Rachel letter situation happens and he chooses to throw the letter away so that this person that he loves doesn't have to feel that pain by reading the letter. And then they have the discussion, and basically Christian Bale's Batman is like, "You had no right to do that. Go fuck yourself," and shit. Like, I legitimately get very emotional watching that whole thing because it's so good. And like, especially with someone like Alfred is such a professional person, right? Very professional, does his job. So if somebody gives Alfred a letter to give to Bruce Wayne, he's gonna give it to Bruce Wayne because that's his job. So the one time he decides to not do his job so that he could spare this kid who's practically his son at this point, the pain is just so good. It's just such a great character, bro, for sure. So
I love whenever they get Alfred into a situation where he has to like fight people, because there will be like people that like break into like his house and stuff like that and try to like rob him or try and like find Batman or something like that and try to like beat him up, and then it's just like Alfred's just standing there. He's like, "Guess I gotta take y'all out now."
Right.
That sucks.
For sure.
He's about to have tea too.
Yep.
And then he just mops the floor with these guys, and it's like he's so cool, every time.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. So
that's my last character I want to bring.
There you go. All right, well that's kind of the episode. Sorry, it was kind of almost a shorter one. We kind of stretched it out a little bit, but we didn't have a lot of news, so we didn't have much to fill it out with. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to follow, subscribe, stay along for the ride. We again are going to film our bonus pod literally right now about Superman. So if you want a Superman review, that should actually be up before this episode. I'm going to try and get it up later today, whereas this episode will be out tomorrow like it normally does. Yeah, but there's also a lot more coming. We have, each week we have the podcast, but we also have another bonus podcast that will be coming later this month where we review the Fantastic Four that is dropping at the end of the month. We've been doing a Star Wars watch-along with Theo's sister, we did the original trilogy, the prequels, and I think tomorrow, if all goes to plan and she doesn't cancel on us again, we should be doing the sequels. So that video should also be
For the
coming
third
soon.
time.
Yeah, that video should also be coming. So if you want to see that, definitely check that out. Those videos have done, I don't want to say good because by YouTube's like measurements they haven't done good, but they've done good for me, like in the sense that out of any videos I've ever uploaded on my channel, those videos have the most views for sure. So definitely something that, and we definitely got to talk to her because there's a lot more movies she hasn't seen that we love. So I would love to keep this series going and do like the original Raimi trilogy, and maybe if we can even do the damn MCU movies. Like there's definitely more that we can do with Rachel for sure. So a lot coming for the pod
For sure.
for you guys if you're paying attention. So make sure to follow us and subscribe and stay along for the ride. And with that, we will see y'all next week. I always wait.